I wasn't going to address this because I'm not trying to let nobody trick me off the streets.
Come over here bothering me. Beef is over with me. Squash beef. If you see me somewhere and nothing happens, it means I'm not pursuing it, because I will stop doing what I'm doing to have the altercation.
Welcome to Celebrity Sniper, your front row seat to the real stories behind Hollywood's biggest names. Today we dive into the explosive relationship between Big Meech and 50 Cent, two kings of different empires who collided to tell one of the boldest stories in TV history. But behind the scenes, power plays, prison calls, and loyalty tested like never before. You won't believe what really happened when street legend met music mogul. Stick around. The truth starts now. Demetrius Big Meech Flannery didn't just grow up in Detroit, he dominated it. In the late 80s, Meech and his brother Terry were building an empire that would soon span the nation. But BMF wasn't just about drugs. It was about power, image, and making a name that couldn't be erased. While law enforcement tried to piece together his empire, Meech made sure his legend was sealed in the streets, by any means necessary. Before 50 Cent even knew his name, Meech was already the blueprint. Long before he stepped into Meech's world, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson was carving out his own legend. From the raw streets of Queens to selling millions with Get Rich or Die Trying, 50 had seen the game from both sides. His connection to real street life gave him credibility few artists had. But what made him dangerous was his business sense. When the music slowed down, 50 looked to stories that felt personal. And that's where Meech came in. What separated BMF from other street crews was the lifestyle. They weren't hiding, they flaunted it. Private jets, blacked out Lambos, bottle service every night in Atlanta. Meech turned drug money into a brand, using hip-hop as a vehicle to build his legend. He even funded music videos, threw wild parties, and rubbed shoulders with stars like Jeezy and Diddy. It was street hustle turned marketing genius, and 50 Cent noticed.
No, I'm excited about this kind of project because, look, first I feel like that in that story with BMF that you got to tell an origin story.
Right, yeah.
Right, because you got to show the innocence of how you get involved in the lifestyle.
Good, baby.
Here, baby, here goes some dinner.
Thank you. Who made this, baby?
Meech made it.
I don't want this motherfucking food.
Why not?
What, he bought it with his drug money?
It doesn't matter. He's feeding you. He's putting
Terry,
food
I
on your
fucked
table.
up, and you coming here letting me buy his food like he owned the motherfucking house? I'm the man of the house. I don't want his drug money food. I don't want it.
How are you enjoying celebrity and people being all in your personal life? I mean, some of it, I think you be trolling us, right? You and Summer and the whole back and forth, whatever that is. Are you enjoying social media is it funny to you? I see you laughing.
Yeah, it's funny to me, man. I don't take none of that stuff serious.
Yeah.
And I got tough skin, so I don't care, you know.
In one of the boldest moves yet, 50 Cent didn't cast a seasoned actor to play Big Meech. He cast Meech's real son, Demetrius Jr. With no acting experience, Lil Meech trained for months under 50's mentorship. He studied his father's walk, talk, and presence. It wasn't just a role, it was legacy. And through that casting, 50 wasn't just telling a story, he was shaping a new star. The gamble paid off. Lil Meech became the heartbeat of the series. 50 Cent wasn't just creating another hit, he was shaping Big Meech's legacy from inside a prison cell. Letters from Meech, filled with insights and corrections, guided the show's direction. He wanted the story to reflect reality, not Hollywood gloss. Every decision, from casting to dialogue, had to honor the truth. This wasn't fiction, it was family business. But with so much power in 50's hands, some began to question if Meech's voice was truly being heard or filtered through entertainment deals. As the BMF show gained traction, cracks began to form behind the scenes. Rumors swirled about disagreements between 50 and Demetrius Lil Meech Flannery Jr., Big Meech's son and the lead actor in the series. Some insiders claim 50 was hard on him, pushing him to be more raw, while others said Lil Meech felt trapped between honoring his dad and following the script. Drama wasn't just on screen, it was brewing off camera too.
Really how that came about, I had no clue I was gonna be acting. It wasn't like I chose this or picked it. 50 actually, put me in position, so that's how that went. And I went to acting classes for about 2 years.
Behind bars, Big Meech was still building his brand. From merchandise to books, he wanted to control his story beyond the show. But 50 Cent, as executive producer, also had a powerful grip on the BMF name in entertainment. This sparked quiet tensions over branding, profits, and who truly owned the BMF legacy. While both claimed love and respect for each other, industry whispers painted a different picture, one of power, ego, and control. Even in prison, Meech's name rang loud in Atlanta and beyond. Old associates, rivals, and protégés began speaking up. Some felt the show portrayed Meech as too noble. Others said it downplayed just how powerful he really was. The streets started fact-checking Hollywood, and suddenly 50 found himself navigating a tightrope between truth and drama. The question was no longer, will this be successful? But who's really telling the story?
When I met Terry and Big Meech, Terry had the most money. Like, far as like, just imagine two brothers, this brother's up, this brother's up, this brother's up, this brother's up. At that time when I met him, he was like the guy that was up. Before they had differences, they was having differences about monies and different shit. Cause Meech would go to Terry to get money. He would call Terry up, I need 100,000, he'll get it, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't understand that, but at that time I thought T was the boss.
At the heart of it all was loyalty, or at least what looked like it. 50 Cent had Meech's back, yes, but he also had a multi-million-dollar series to protect. When Lil Meech got into legal trouble over a stolen watch in 2022, 50 publicly defended him. But was it out of loyalty or protecting the show's image? The lines between family, business, and branding blurred, and fans started to ask, does 50 really ride for BMF, or just what BMF can offer him? Playing your father on TV is no easy task, especially when your father is a street legend like Big Meech. For Demetrius Jr., the role became more than acting. He had to study his father's every move, mannerism, and mindset. But some critics felt he wasn't gritty enough, that the performance lacked the weight of Meech's real-life presence. Behind the scenes, that pressure began to wear on Lil Meech. Balancing legacy and identity was becoming a daily battle, one few could understand. Even from behind bars, Big Meech maintained influence. Phone calls turned into directives, and messages filtered into production decisions. Some say he approved every major storyline in the show. Others believe his input was considered, but not always honored. This blurred line between creative collaboration and control started creating friction. Could 50 Cent balance his creative vision with Meech's demands? And more importantly, who had the final say in how the BMF story was told? As the
Oh, you just think you sunshine on that nigga dick, don't you? Let me show you something. Did he tell you he picked that out just for you? Bitch, you ain't the better woman, you just the other woman.
The success of BMF led to spin-offs, book deals, merch drops, even a planned documentary. But with all this money moving, the question loomed, was the focus shifting from legacy to profit? 50 Cent's business sense is legendary, but critics began questioning if the emotional depth of the BMF saga was being overshadowed by dollar signs. Was it still a tribute to the streets, or just a gold mine for TV executives? Despite drama, doubts, and disputes, BMF continued to thrive. Ratings soared, fans stayed glued, and 50 doubled down on expanding the BMF universe. But beneath the surface, the story remained deeply personal. For Lil Meech, it was about honoring his father. For 50, it was about legacy and vision. For Big Meech, it was about truth. And sometimes those three things don't align. But as long as the cameras roll, the world keeps watching, and the saga continues. Every episode of BMF hit close to home. For Lil Meech, it wasn't just acting, it was reliving his father's legacy. The emotional toll of reenacting scenes that mirrored real-life pain, betrayal, and triumph weighed on him. Some scenes reportedly had to be paused due to the rawness of emotions. Fans loved the realism, but for those involved, it was personal therapy and trauma wrapped into one. The line between performance and memory started to blur. Behind the camera, 50 Cent became more than a producer. He was a mentor. Taking Lil Meech under his wing, he coached him in acting, business, and branding. The dynamic resembled a father-son bond. 50 has often said, "I didn't just cast him, I trained him." But with guidance comes pressure. Fans questioned if Lil Meech could succeed without 50's influence. Still, the chemistry between the two helped cement the show's identity. Gritty, real, and personal.
What's the best memory of 50 Cent?
Best memory of 50 Cent? Ever since I met 50 Cent, he's always been stand up and probably the most truthful person I've ever met. You know, everything he tells me, he stands on it. You know, and that's important in life, loyalty and morals, and actually meaning what you say.
I love that.
And ever since I've known him, he's always meant what he says.
Hell yeah.
Shout out 50 Cent.
As the show's popularity grew, so did the controversies. TMZ, Shade Room, and blogs started feeding off behind-the-scenes gossip. Rumors of arguments, creative disputes, and financial fallouts started making waves. Some claimed 50 and Lil Meech clashed privately, while others said prison calls from Big Meech led to tension. Whether true or not, the noise became part of the brand, turning BMF into more than a show. It became a movement entangled in real-life headlines. Despite being incarcerated, Big Meech has voiced opinions on how the show portrays his legacy. In rare interviews and through phone calls shared by family, Meech expressed pride, but also suggested the full story hasn't yet been told. His vision goes beyond TV. It's about redemption, legacy, and clearing misconceptions. His public letters and statements have added authenticity to the show, reminding fans that this isn't fiction, it's real, and it's still unfolding. The story of Big Meech and 50 Cent isn't just about crime, entertainment, or fame. It's about legacy. From Detroit streets to the TV screen, BMF has become a symbol of how stories evolve. Through drama, loyalty, betrayal, and rebirth, the BMF saga has cemented itself in pop culture. Whether you praise or criticize it, you can't ignore it. The lines between fact and fiction remain blurred. But one thing is clear: the legacy of BMF isn't over. It's still being written. One episode, one interview, and one chapter at a time.